Why Yu Long and Yang Mei Mei clarify pregnancy rumors at an emergency press conference. What if the moment fans had been whispering about for weeks was never meant to be a rumor at all? What if the truth behind Yu Long and Yang Mei Mei's sudden emergency press conference was bigger, deeper, and far more emotional than anyone imagined? And what if everything changed the moment those two walked onto that stage together, under the blinding lights, with cameras trembling in anticipation? This is the story of the night the entire entertainment world stopped breathing. The night questions finally collided with truth. Hold on tight, C-Drama family. The world of your favorite celebrities is unfolding before your eyes, and every moment is more breathtaking than the last. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications right now, because trust me, you do not want to miss what's coming next. The call that shocked the industry began quietly. Just after sunset, as the city lights of Beijing flickered awake, media outlets received an urgent message: Yu Long and Yang Mei Mei would be holding a press conference in under 2 hours. No explanations. No previews. Only a location and a time. Within minutes, social platforms exploded. Fans were already in a frenzy after weeks of speculation. A single video clip had circulated like wildfire: Yang Mei Mei leaving a hospital, her coat wrapped tightly around her midsection. Another photo, taken from a fan's shaky phone, showed Yu Long shielding her from paparazzi with an expression far too serious to ignore. Whispers had turned into storms. Now, an emergency press conference? Everyone knew something massive was coming. The hall full silent reporters packed the hall until no space remained. Camera operators balanced their equipment on shoulders already trembling from adrenaline. There was electricity in the air, the kind that pricks the skin. And then the doors opened. Yu Long entered first, his step steady, but there was something different about him tonight. A calmness that felt deliberate. Controlled. Protective. Yang Mei Mei followed, dressed in a sleek black suit, her hair pulled back, her face composed yet undeniably emotional. Her hands were clasped together, and Yu Long gently placed his hand at the small of her back, guiding her toward the microphones. 1,000 flashes exploded at once. But they didn't speak immediately. They simply stood there, sharing a silent moment as the noise settled. Together, they looked like two people who had faced something heavy long before stepping onto that stage. The question everyone was too afraid to ask a journalist finally found the courage. The question came out steady, but the weight behind it made the entire room lean forward. Mei Mei, Yu Long. Is there a pregnancy? The world seemed to freeze. Yu Long glanced at Mei Mei, and she nodded softly, signaling him to speak first. And then he said it, his voice calm yet filled with sincerity. There is a truth to be told tonight. But before we speak it, we want everyone to understand what we have been going through. Not a yes. Not a no. Something deeper. Reporters exchanged glances. Fans online were already typing frantically. What were they protecting? What had happened behind the scenes? A private struggle the public never knew. Yang Mei Mei stepped forward, her voice gentle but firm. The rumors began after I visited the hospital. And I understand why people speculated. What the public did not know is that the visit had nothing to do with a pregnancy. A ripple of shock moved through the room. She paused. Yu Long reached out, taking her hand, grounding her, strengthening her. I was dealing with a health concern, something unexpected. It was a frightening moment, but Yu Long was by my side through all of it. Every camera lowered slightly. The mood shifted from gossip to empathy. We were not ready to share anything. We needed answers first. We needed time. She inhaled deeply, her voice steady but filled with emotion. So no, I am not pregnant. And the rumors, though understandable, have caused a lot of pressure during a vulnerable moment for us. This time, no one moved. Even the clicking of cameras slowed to a distant hum. Why Yu Long's protective confession? Yu Long stepped forward next. I know the rumor spread because people care. And for that, we are grateful. But Mei Mei's health has been our priority. The hospital visit was for tests. I insisted on going with her, not because of scandal, not because of cameras, but because she is someone I care about deeply. The hall erupted in murmurs. This was the first time he had ever spoken so openly about their bond. He continued. I wanted to protect her. I still do. So when the rumors exploded, and people began inventing stories, we knew we had to address it before it grew into something that harmed her further. There was something raw in his tone. Not anger. Not defensiveness. Something honest. The moment that changed everything, a reporter asked softly, "What does this mean for your relationship?" The question was bold. Direct. Impossible to ignore. For a moment, Yulong and Yang Mei Mei shared a look that spoke more than any press statement ever could. And then Mei Mei answered. What we have is real. But it is ours. We are not ready to define it publicly. We are taking things slow, supporting each other, and choosing peace over pressure. Yulong nodded. Whatever we build, we want to build it honestly, without rushing, without using personal moments for public attention. What matters most is that we face things together. It was the truth fans never expected, yet desperately needed. Not a scandal. Not a denial. Not a dramatic revelation. Something far more human. Two people standing side by side, admitting they were walking a delicate path, side by side, at their own pace. The press conference ends with a final surprise. As the conference drew to an end, Yulong turned back to the microphones with one last message. Please allow us the space to navigate this time quietly. Mei Mei's health is improving, and we are grateful for your concern. But let the rumors stop here. And let respect begin. The room fell into complete silence. No journalist dared shout another question. No camera operator dared break the moment. Because everyone understood. This was not a publicity stunt. Not a planned spectacle. It was a plea. A rare, honest moment in an industry built on illusion. After the lights went out by midnight, headlines flooded every platform. Fans debated, reacted, defended, analyzed. Clips of the press conference were played on loop, dissected frame by frame. Some fans cried. Some felt relief. Some felt closer to the couple than ever before. But one thing was certain, the emergency press conference had changed everything. Not because of a pregnancy. Not because of a scandal. But because for the first time, the world had seen the real Yulong and the real Yang Mei Mei. Not stars. Not idols. Just two people trying to protect something fragile, something meaningful, something quietly growing between them. And maybe, just maybe, that truth was even more powerful than the rumor they came to clear. The silence after the storm. The moment Yulong gently guided Yang Mei Mei away from the podium, the room erupted into noise behind them. Reporters shouted questions they knew would never be answered. Camera flashes still exploded even as the couple disappeared behind the velvet curtain. But the instant the doors closed behind them, everything went quiet. There, in the narrow backstage corridor, with only a dim overhead light flickering softly, the weight of the last few weeks finally settled on their shoulders. Yang Mei Mei exhaled the breath she had been holding since the conference began. Yulong placed a steady hand on her arm. You did well, he told her. Better than anyone else would have. Her voice came out smaller than before, tired but sincere. I just hope it was enough. His expression changed. Not frustration. Not worry. Something closer to admiration. It was more than enough. A private conversation they never expected the world to hear. They walked slowly down the hallway, away from the staff packing up equipment. Yulong paused, turning toward her. You don't have to face this alone anymore. It was a sentence that carried more meaning than the words themselves. She looked up at him, eyes slightly glassy, not from weakness but from the emotional gravity of the night. I didn't want people to misunderstand. I didn't want sympathy. I just needed space. He nodded. And that's why I came with you. Not because I wanted to protect an image, or because I was afraid of rumors. but because I couldn't let you shoulder the fear by yourself." The confession hung in the air for a moment, soft yet undeniable. It wasn't romantic. It wasn't dramatic for the sake of headlines. It was sincere, grounded, and painfully real. The moment that changed their relationship forever. A staff member approached them, handing over Mei Mei's coat. She slipped into it quietly, but her hands were trembling. Yulong noticed immediately. "Give me your bag," he said gently. She hesitated. "It's fine," she insisted. But he still took it from her, slinging it over his shoulder without another word. A simple gesture, yet powerful in its intention. They reached the back exit where a quiet car waited, tinted windows shielded from the frenzy still happening at the front of the building. But instead of getting in, Yulong stopped. "Mei Mei." She turned toward him, her expression soft, expectant. "I know tonight was difficult. I know the past few weeks have been heavy. But whatever happens next, I'm here. Even if the world becomes loud again. Even if the rumors start all over. Even if it gets worse before it gets better." She swallowed hard, her voice low. "Why are you doing this? Really?" His answer came without hesitation. "Because you matter to me. More than the career, more than the headlines. You matter." There it was. The moment that shifted the ground beneath them. Not a public declaration. Not a viral clip. Just truth spoken quietly in the darkness of a chilly night.